Boca-Toe. This is your Brandon Lewis. You are now about to get into the Script Talk podcast on Truth Music Radio. The Z is for Zion. Let's get it.
I rep ENT. I rep ENT. I rep ENT. A-Star. I rep ENT.
Tryna save the fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of fire. Future, how are you gonna stand higher? Tryna save my fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of fire.
A-Star.
Future, how are you gonna stand
Trying to save the
higher?
fam from the flames and lake of fire. There's literally nobody, just little Ezariah. Took heed from Jeremiah, Ezra, Hezekiah, Samuel, Nehemiah. I'm leaning on the rock, just how they killed Zechariah. Sovereign is the king and our savior is the sire. To join your house side, we do invite ya. They conquered and divide us. Sold us in the bondage, used to buy us. With piracy, they buy us. Stole us from our climates, infected us with virus. They keep us at the bottom to incarcerate the highest. They profit as they plotting our demises, dividing up the pie crystal. Kwam, Yasharal, and Yahoo to our highness, the highest.
Tryna save the fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of fire. Future, how are you gonna stand higher? Tryna save my fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of
Top
fire.
turn, A-Star. I rep ENT. Thanks.
I rep ENT.
You can lead a horse to the water.
Yeah.
Can't make it drink.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I can give you all the information.
All the information.
I can't make you think. Tell me if you peep how the wicked kill the weak. Cry about the cops, kill your own bruh in the streets. Broadway, they there on Sunday. Tickets to hell, they just waiting in the runway. Gunplay, lot of dirty things, grimy schemes. Yeah, how was shy? Only one can redeem. Got a thirst after righteousness like a fiend. Then dipped in his blood, made clean. Yahadim.
Tryna save the fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of fire. Future, how are you gonna stand higher? Tryna save my fam from the lake of fire. Tryna save my friends from the lake of fire. Tryna save you from the lake of fire.
A-Star.
Future, how are you gonna stand
I
higher?
rep ENT.
Truth Music Radio is the #1 hottest source of truth music. Come see what all the fuss is about. Every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Zebediah Boaz will be bringing y'all evening meditation. Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m. DJ Taz Stewart will be on the ones and twos. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Moshe Ahuda will bring you truth music, scripts, and world events. Wednesday from 5 to 7, your sister, Ray Chantel, will be bringing you Sister Talk every Wednesday. Every Friday, tap in to Truth, Love, and Redemption with Dimitri Milligan from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget about me, your op, Brandon Lewis, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. We'll be bringing you the Script Talk podcast, all on Truth Music Radio. The Z is for Zion, powered by the Most High, J Shields Promotions, RayGraphics.com, and Yasharala Nation. Zion, spread the message. Download the app for free for Apple devices and Android. Shalom.
It's your Judah Black, and you're tuned into truthmusic.com. The Z is for Zion.
If I'm pleasing in your sight, I'm the apple of your eye. Show me your ways, please. I want to know. Yeah, I heard from the old folks you're faithful. Not slack on your promise, you're able. You don't withhold from the blameless. You have no love for the aimless. You hear the righteous cry. Look on them with your eye. Your terror to the dark. Oh, keeper of my heart. If I pleasing in your sight, I'm the apple of your eye. Show me your ways, please. I want to know. Yeah, I heard from the old folks you're patient. So loving kindness, you're gracious. They say you live in our praises. Is this true or ancient? Not man that you should lie. I draw nigh, you draw nigh. The wicked plans you thought. Oh, keeper of my heart. If I pleasing in your sight, I'm the apple of your eye. Show me your ways, please. I want to know. Yeah.
Hey, football fans, it's Patrick Mahomes, and I'm here to let
Shalom, shalom to the brethren, man. What up to everybody else? Listen, this y'all Brandon Lewis. I just want to take this time to tell y'all, man, hit that like button, man, for those of y'all joining me on YouTube and Facebook and Hebrew Connect. Hit that like button, man. It ain't gonna cost you nothing to hit. It ain't gonna cost you nothing to like the channel, to comment, subscribe, to follow. It ain't gonna cost you nothing, man. So go ahead and push that button. Hit that notification bell, man, so you can be notified when it's time to go live. Don't rob your brother of his likes and his subscriptions. Shalom. You better not do it. Better not be robbing me of my likes. Shalom to the brethren. What up to everybody else? This is Yahweh Brandon Lewis, and this is the Script Talk Podcast. Man, y'all don't even know what I was planning on doing today, but I decided to go ahead and do this. And then when I got into what I was going to do today, I'm like, man, I want to do 2-3 chapters, and I want to do 2-3 hours. But I'm in a bad bind because I told y'all last podcast about how I don't have all of the right equipment. But through the esteem of the Most High Yah, I've been able to buy all of the equipment. I just haven't received it all yet. So I can't do a full live broadcast. And I went, Yaak went, all out on this one. So I will be able to take calls. I could stream on multiple platforms, and I could do a lot of new things starting next week. But I'm kind of salty, man, because we are, as I said last podcast, we are going to be going over the General Epistle of Barnabis chapter 13. Because I think last week we did chapter 12 and we had ran out of time. I really wholeheartedly want to do chapter 13, 14, and 15 today. I want to do that thing today. But I'm not going to be able to read it and expound on it how I would like to. And I don't want to rob you all. I don't want to rob myself. I don't want to rob the Most High of the words and the time that's needed for each of those chapters. So I'm going to do chapter 13 today. Abba willing, I do chapter 14. Abba willing, I'll do a special podcast on the radio. Now, on my other platforms, I always do. Well, I do Sundays, right? But on the radio, on Truth Music Radio, the Z is for Zion. It's music with a Z because the Z is for Zion, right? I I don't do Sundays, but I may do Sunday. Well, I plan to do Sunday if it is okay with the higher ups at the station, right? So let's get right on into it, man. The General Epistle of Barnabas, and I want to say this too, man. This book, I've been talking how I'm talking about it being the character and about trying to live the word. This been for a while now, and it's been strengthened since my accident, right? The Most High showed me and others, right, that this awakening really is not everything we think it is, right? We are focusing on things that don't really profit. This whole heritage doctrine about feast days and certain ordinances that apply to the land, and we're in captivity trying to do these things. That's not what he has called us to. He's called us to a higher moral status. He's calling us to be exemplary by our actions, to manifest him in the earth. That's why you see people keeping these or doing things that we think we should do, but yet they still have these character flaws. We shouldn't have these character flaws, and chapters chapters 13 and 14 get right on into that thing, man. I mean, no, I'm sorry. 14 and 15 get really deep. So please stay tuned. Please stay tuned over the next two episodes, right? Sunday and Monday. Be there or be square. Set your alarm if you should happen to miss them. I'm on other platforms, you know, and yeah. So let's get right on into it. All praise to the Most High. Chapter 13. The heading says, "The Sabbath of the Yahudim, or the Shabbat of the Yahudim, was but a figure of a more esteemed Shabbat to come, and their temple of the Ruachal temples of the Most High. Furthermore, it is written concerning the Shabbat in the Ten Commandments, which the Most High spake in the Mount Sinai to Moshe face to face. Sanctify the Shabbat of the Master with pure hands and with a clean heart." Chapter 14 is going to get into this clean heart, what it means to have a clean heart. And it's a lot of the characteristics we've been hearing, we've been going over on this podcast. but it's said in such a way to replace everything you think the awakening is. You know, it's pretty much what I've been saying, but he's saying it more in a way of ain't nothing else. Like, this is what it is. This is what it takes to be saved. You know, all this other stuff is a distraction. It is a diversion to make you feel righteous. When indeed, if you don't have these righteous characteristics, you are wicked. Trying to tell you, man, that thing. Oh, I want to get into it so bad, but I'm gonna wait. And don't you? Well, I mean, you know, I'm willing. Won't know one day to the next. So if you have the ability to go ahead and read chapters 14 and 15 and beyond, please do, right? But your brother is gonna go over it, Abba willing, over the next couple of days. 2. And elsewhere he said, if thy children shall keep my Shabbat, then will I put my kindness, or I'm sorry, my favor. No, that's grace. I'm sorry. Kindness is mercy. Then shall I put my kindness upon them. And even in the beginning of the creation, he makes mention of the Shabbat. And the Most High made in 6 days the works of his hands, and he finished them on the 7th day. And he rested the 7th day and sanctified it, set it apart. Consider, my children, what that signifies. What does the 7th day resting signify? He finished them in 6 days. The meaning of it is this, that in 6,000 years, the mighty master will bring all things to an end. Getting congested these days. For with him 1 day is 1,000 years. As himself testified, saying, behold, this day shall be as 1,000 years. Therefore, children, in 6 days, that is, in 1,000 years, shall all things be accomplished. Here, 6,000 years from the creation until this eternal rest, it's gonna be 6,000 years. So all this stuff these people telling you about millions and 20, 30,000 years and all this stuff, it's contrary to the word. So, you know, you have to watch anybody that speak like that, you know, and talk about all these resets, multiple resets over hundreds of thousands of years. And as you see, it can't even be tens of thousands, much less hundreds of thousands and millions, as some of these people be saying, man. 6. And what is that he said? And he rested the 7th day. He meaneth this. And I want to say this 6,000 year thing is not just in this book, because I know it's people want to hop in this book. I want to say it speaks in Jubilees about 6,000 years. It speaks in Adam and Eve, in the books of Adam and Eve, I want to say. Um, and maybe even Jasher. I'm not 100% sure about Jasher. But yeah, so this is not the only place you find this mention of 6,000 years, right? 6. What is it that he said? And he rested on the 7th day in the term of the 6,000 years. He meaneth this, that when his son shall come and abolish the season of the wicked one, brothers and sisters, and bind them and cast them into a pit, and judge the unrighteous, and shall change the sun and the moon and the stars, then he shall esteemadly rest in that 7th day. He adds lastly, thou shalt sanctify it with clean hands and with a pure heart. Therefore we are greatly deceived if we imagine that we can now sanctify that day which the Most High has made set apart. If we could set apart that day which Yah has made set apart without
having a pure heart in all things. So this is what he's saying pretty much, is that you polluting the Sabbath if you're not keeping it with the pure heart. That's why I want to get in this next chapter so bad. Ooh, so bad I want to get into it. You know, without having pure heart. 18, behold, therefore he will then truly sanctify it with Baruch rest, when we, having received the righteous promise, this is the thing, we're not going to receive the righteous promise until we develop a pure heart. This captivity until the time of the Most High's judgment upon their rights and his reestablishing of his people. I want to say this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna come back on camera on the other podcast because I really wanna drive this point home here. I want to drive it home here for you. Okay. As I've been saying, me and my brother been talking behind you know, closed doors about this really. And the more we read and study, the more we see our people in this awakening, the more evident it has become. You know, the Most High took everything he gave us. He took it from us. The land, the language, the culture, some of the ordinances we can't keep because we don't have the structure in which he gave us to keep the ordinances. When the last time you been to the priest for an offering? Huh? When is the last time you had the ability to bring someone into judgment? You got to call the police. That's not what the ordinance said. The ordinance said you bring them before the elders. The elders make a judgment. The people together come together and execute that judgment. When last time you did that? People want to talk about 613. You're not keeping 613. Stop it. Let's just stop it. We're really not. It's part of the 613. Catch somebody in adultery, you take them out to the city, you stone them. That's part of the 613. Are you doing it? When last time you did it? I ain't did it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're supposed to give offerings for certain uncleanliness and stuff like this. You're supposed to go to the Levite and all this stuff. When last time you did it? See, people's lying. They saying stuff because it sound good. I know they probably mean well, but this podcast is about the actual and the factual. Okay, the actual and the factual, not about what what makes the heart feels good about what your mouth saying. Okay, we not doing this stuff, and we can't do this stuff, and he made it to where we can't do this stuff. So your brother Brandon Lewis is here to tell you the only thing we ought to be concentrating on is developing a pure heart. Keep feast days, wearing fringes. What else is people doing? You know, arguing over a whole bunch of different doctrines and all this stuff is not gonna help you get to a pure heart. You want to know how I know it ain't? Because it didn't help the Pharisees. What did the Mashiach say regarding us as opposed to the Pharisees? Well, to the apostles and also to the people with them and all those that we come after them and we are after them. Your righteousness, your heart must exceed that of the Pharisees, meaning you got to do what you have to be better than what they are. You got to surpass what they are in pureness of heart. I'm trying to tell you, man. Hey, listen. Tune in Sunday. Abba willing, I be here, right? To give you this lesson on 15. I mean on 14. And it ain't nothing new. Everything he say, the 66 says. Everything he say, I've spoken to you on this podcast. But I'm here to tell you, you ain't got time for nothing else after that. This is what our people have never done, has gained a pure heart. They have never gained a pure heart. That's why you see all throughout the prophets, all throughout um the book, the 66, the apocrypha, the pseudepigrapha. I'm in the pseudepigrapha now, the General Epistle of Barnabis. This is what they've been trying to tell us the whole time. Even when we had the land, even when we had the language, we have always needed a pure heart. You know, the people who he dealt with in the scripture, the ones that had a pure heart, brothers and sisters. And that's just the bottom line, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm screaming it. I'm screaming because this is the word that's going forth in the four corners. That the creator of the heavens and the earth has sent his son in these latter days to meet the requirements that he set in the law, so that those that come after him and believe upon him, to believe upon him is to believe in the Father. Why he said, if you don't believe in me, you don't believe in the Son, you can't believe in the Father. They go together. And that they should become perfect. That's why what he pointed out was the matters of a pure heart, the characteristics we about to talk about Sunday. All right? And this is the message. Not about the children of Israel returning back to things that they ain't got the power to keep and observe. Go to Jerusalem 3 times a year before the place where I place my name. Where is you? People will talk about, well, our bodies is the temple. And okay, show me where he said everybody together in front of your body in the text 3 times a year. Well, it changed. Okay, you want to know what changed? All of that. Okay, I was going to say, man, I think I'm kind of going off a little bit, but I want to drive home this point to you. Getting a pure heart is all you or anybody else that got breath in their lungs need to be focusing on. I'm gonna drop the mic on that one and get back to this business. All right, where are we here? Let's hit that. Let's hit that last. Let's hit that 7 again. He adds, lastly, thou shalt sanctify it with clean hands and a pure heart. The Shabbat, the eternal rest. Only way you're going to enter into it. Wherefore, we are greatly deceived if we imagine that anyone can now sanctify that day which the Most High has made Kodash without having a heart pure in all things. Behold, therefore, he will then truly sanctify it with Baruch rest, when we having received the righteous promise, when iniquity shall be no more, all things being renewed. Lastly, he said unto them, your new moons and your Sabbaths, I cannot bear them. This is Isaiah 1. And shout out to Barnabis, man, for precepting this whole book. That's why, he precepted this thing down. You cannot bear them. Consider what he means by it. The Shabbat, says he, which ye now keep, are not acceptable unto me. But those which I have made, when resting from all things, I shall begin the 8th day. That is the beginning of the other world. For which cause we observe the 8th day with gladness, in which Yahusha rose from the dead, and having manifested himself to his Talmudim, his taught ones, disciples, ascend into Shemaim. It remains yet that I speak to you concerning the temple, how these miserable men being deceived. He's talking about the Yahudim right now. He's talking about the Yahudim. He's talking about the scribes and the Pharisees and all the people that worship the temple. Just like we got people now that worship the laws, that worship the feast days. We got people that worship this stuff, that they reverence it more than they reverence the character and the nature that the Most High Yah has set forth for us to possess. You know how they worship it, because they'll keep the feast, but they ain't gonna possess the character, right? That's what this podcast has been about. The script talk. Let's talk about it. You know, it could also be called the Script Live podcast, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to live the scriptures, and I'm trying to point that stuff out to you. I know we can get into all this, spiritual talk about, the Most High blessing you and fighting in the ruach and all this stuff, right? It, you know, it's something to that. Okay, maybe that's more the mental consideration of this pure heart concept. But at the end of the day, there has to be an action connected to the spirit. Okay? If the Most High wanted us to be only spiritual, he wouldn't have gave us fleshly bodies. Okay? So there's something about the body that's supposed to be used as a vessel to manifest the spiritual. Right? You got a lot of people that do all that spiritual talk. Oh, they all about the ruach. They all about the battling against the flesh and the demons and all this old stuff. It sound very grand, okay? But the manifesting this stuff in the earth is an issue for them, or it's something that appears lacking. Like I said, we know not what goes on behind closed doors, what goes on in the shadows, and I say all these things in a teaching and admonishment to myself as well, because I'm not gonna lie. When we get into chapter 14, it's gonna cut you. I want you to bring your napkins, bring your towels, bring everything you need to bring, because you're gonna get cut when we do chapter 14 and 15. Okay, you're gonna be cut. I guarantee. If you ain't cut by 14 and 15, then you ready for the Malkuf. You ready to get right on into the kingdom if you ain't cut. Because I'm telling you, this ain't been taught. It ain't been taught. You didn't read it. I guarantee you didn't read this stuff. But it ain't been expressed to you how Barnabas gonna express it. But anyway, let me calm down, man, because I'm excited about it. I'm so excited about it because it's like y'all is confirming. Like, I didn't know about this book, family. You gotta understand. I've been had access to this book, but I have not got into it because it's other books I've gotten into. And I've brought a lot of these books to you guys on this podcast. The Shepherd of Hermes, the 12 Patriarchs. All of these books is a part of a collection of books that this book was in, and that thing lied dormant all this time, brothers and sisters. For years I've been reading these other books and passed over this one every time. And the Most High saw fit to bring forth the book today in this hour for the past couple weeks now, that we in this time should hear it. It wasn't for hear it last 2 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. It's for us to hear it today. So heed that thing. Please don't take it lightly. Please don't take it lightly. Okay? Told y'all. Hallelujah. 11. It remains yet that I speak concerning the temple, how these miserable men, being deceived, have put their trust in the house and not the Most High himself who made them, as if it were the habitation of the Most High. For much after the same manner as the Gentiles, they consecrated him in the temple. This is what the heathens do even to this day. They worship the buildings. They tell you the church, or not church, that's some old other stuff. That the assembly is about the building. It's not about the building. It's about the gathering together and the unity and the harbor amongst the people that are in it. But when you don't consider the spiritual first, you end up with something carnal. So I say I don't be eradicate the spirit. I don't believe in the false balances that's presented, where you got these people that come to you talking about spirit, 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 and it gets people into this mindset of feeling fulfilled. But it's like, okay, you fulfilled in the spirit. What you gonna do in the flesh though? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do when you snap out of that prayer, when you snap out of that praise and worship, when you leave that building and you go back out into the world? What is that gonna do for you? You need to be told certain things. You need to be admonished, rebuked in certain things, so that you don't go do other things. People used to be, see, there used to be a thing called shame, right? To where shame or strong rebukes would keep people from doing certain things. Even if they wanted to do them, they wouldn't do them. They'd be like, man, I can't do that, man. People gonna talk about me, man. People gonna look at me a certain way. I mean, even now it applies, but it's getting less and less. That's why you see the alphabet community behave and how they're behaving, because shame has been taken off the table and everything's been made acceptable, right? Um, man, I forgot where I was going with that. Uh, okay, yeah, the this whole spiritual mindset thing, it's become accepted that we just talk, 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 and there's no manifesting it. Okay, and and it's time to get away from that. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, but learn therefore how the master speaketh, rendering the temple vain. Who has measured the Shemaim with a span, and the earth with his hand? It is not I, thus said the master. Shemaim is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. I want to say he said this right after Solomon made the temple, right? And everybody was looking at it as gold, it's marvelous, it's so beautiful, all this stuff. So I was like, you know, how you gonna make a house for me? You know what I'm saying? But he still kind of gave him a little thing to be like, okay, I see what you're doing, but you know, this this ain't that. This is a representative of what's gonna come in the latter days. Everything in the Old Testament was pretty much representative of what was to come, of Hamashiach who was to come, of the temple and the lifestyle. Solomon's reign was a representative of what the kingdom is gonna be like. You know what I'm saying? Because they had complete rest in Solomon's reign. There was no wars to fight. They had plenty of money, plenty of food. They didn't suffer from no droughts. They didn't suffer from no famines. They didn't suffer from no pestilences, no war. They was fine. They had servants to do all of their work for them. Go read the Antiquities of the Jews by Josephus. He'll tell you, only thing the Yahudim did for work was their personal gardens. And that just gave them something to do. They didn't do it because they had to. They had money to have servants to do everything they wanted to do. They did that just to keep busy. That's what Solomon's reign was like. But it was a forecast of kingdom was gonna be like, right? I'm checking my time. Uh, uh, somebody is my throne. What is the house that ye will build me, or what is the place of my rest? Know therefore that all their hope is vain. Again, he speaketh after this manner. Behold, they that destroy this temple, even they shall again build it up. And so it came to pass, for through their wars it is now destroyed by their enemies, and the servants of their enemies built it up. Now this is the servants of their enemies. Herod. Herod is the servant of the Romans. He's very Hellenized. He was part Yahudim, part Edomite, as Josephus tells us, and he he built or rebuilt a lot of the temples. Furthermore, it has been made manifest how both the city and the temple. Hold on. Now this 15. That's 15. Put your braces on. Furthermore, it has been made manifest how both the city and the temple and the people of Yasharal should be given up. For the scripture saith, and it shall come to pass in the last days, that show you the last days has been upon us, okay? He was talking about the last days of the old, right? What he established, how he was going to bring it to an end, and a new world was going to come with the world we living in. The world we living in is the new to that old, and then this world is going to be destroyed, right? Because the reign of wickedness will be abolished, and then we'll see Hamashiach reign, right? It shall come to pass in the last days, the master will deliver up the sheep of his pastor, and their fold, and their tower into destruction. And it has come to pass as the master have spoken. This is what they should have been looking for when Hamashiach came. They want to know when we gonna rule. What about the rulership? They should have been looking for the temple destruction and the people being cast out and the land being made desolate. That's what they should have been looking for. Let us inquire, therefore, whether there be any temple of Yah. Yes, there is, and that there where himself declares that he would both make and perfect it, for it is written, and it shall be that as soon as the week shall be completed, the temple of the master shall be esteemadly built in the name of the master. I find, therefore, that there is a temple, but how shall it be built in the name of the master? I will show you. Ye are the temple, brothers and sisters. Before that we believed in the Most High, the habitation of our heart. See, that heart, that pure heart, that pure heart. Okay, the habitation of our heart was corruptible. It's not pure, it's corruptible and feeble, as the temple truly built with hands. Man, let me see how much time I got, because I wanted to expound on this thing. When I was talking to my brother about this chapter, uh, that temple made with hands, you know, Paul told you, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temple made with hands. When we was in the world, even some of us now, not having a pure heart, right? Because we being corrupted by the things of the earth. The way to get rid of an impure heart is by the renewing of the mind. by the hearing and the doing of the word of the Most High Yah, right? But uh, the Most High can't dwell in us because we have these unclean things that keep us, that whatever's keeping us from having a pure heart, it's an unclean thing. So it's keeping the Most High and the Mashiach from being able to dwell within us. That's what he's comparing us to. Temple built by hands, feeble, temple made with hands. For it was a house full of idolatry, a house of devils, inasmuch as there was done in it whatsoever was contrary unto the Most High. But it shall be built in the name of the Master. That's why we have to be rebuilt. You know, when they talk about being reborn, you got to be rebuilt. Rebuilt. Are you rebuilt, brothers and sisters? Ask yourself. 20. Consider how the temple of the Master shall be very esteemadly built, and by what means that shall be learned. Having received remission of our sins and trusting in the name of the Master, we are become new, being again created, reborn, again created, reborn, renewed, as it were from the beginning. Wherefore, the Most High truly dwells in our house, that is, in us. See, when you clean yourself out, when you get that pure heart, when you clean that temple out. But guess what? Anti-Hamashiach dwells in the temple of the living Elohim. Not some land in Jerusalem, in us. Or previously was in us, but he still resides in many of our brothers and sisters. This is the abomination that causes desolation. Because once he became to reign in us, in numeral, we have descended as a nation from what we're supposed to be to what we are now. All the characteristics he told us to be, the righteous, the upright, the right ruling, those of well standing. When we don't have the Most High within us, because those characteristics are of the Most High, when we have those characteristics, we have him. But instead, we got the latter. We got, idolatry, you know, hatred, envy, all of these things. Now we have anti-law, anti-righteousness, anti-Hamashiach dwelling within us. And that caused desolation. You know why it caused desolation? Because wickedness abounds, it grows. It's like a cancer if you don't cut it off, if you don't circumcise your flesh. That's why Paul told you about circumcising your flesh ain't gonna save you. You gotta circumcise what? Your heart. It all goes together, brothers. It all goes together. Why do you think they talk like that? Why do you think the language is how it is, how it's been? Circumcision of the flesh, circumcision of the heart. That's the true circumcision. That's the true bond of the covenant. That is the true sign that you are the child of the Most High Yah, that you possess these characteristics. Not that you got fringes on your shirt. Not that you take off work a couple times a year for feast days and Sabbaths. But your manner of conduct, brothers and sisters. Hey, we continue on, man. I'm getting short on time. I told y'all we almost done. But how does he dwell in us? The word of his amunah, the calling of his promise, the wisdom of his righteous judgments, the commands of his doctrine. He himself prophesies within us. He himself dwelleth in us, and openeth to us who were in bondage of death the gate of our temple. Openeth to us who were in bondage the gate of our temple. He frees us from our bondage when he's dwelling within us. So ain't nobody got the Most High Yah. They still in bondage, man. Bondage to sin. Man, you know what, man? I just can't stop smoking, man. It's bondage, brothers. So I don't care. You can dress it up however you want to dress it up. It's one thing to do it in your leisure because you feel like it or whatever. It's another thing to feel as if something is controlling you and making you do it. That's anything. That's why we're supposed to fast. You know, fast from everything. You know, you can't be in bondage. Most High came to free us from Hamashiach came to free us from bondage. That is the mouth of wisdom, having given repentance unto us, and by this means has brought us to an incorruptible temple. He therefore that desires to be saved looketh not upon the man, but unto him that dwelleth in him, and speaketh by him, being struck with wonder. For as much as he never heard him speaking such words out of his mouth, nor ever desired to hear him. This is that Bacal spiritual temple that is built unto the master. Todayah. Let me hit this little commercial real quick for the brethren, because I'm finna get up out of here in a little bit. Shalom to the brethren, man. What up to everybody else? Listen, this y'all Brandon Lewis. I just want to take this time to tell y'all, man, hit that like button, man, for those of y'all joining me on YouTube and Facebook and Hebrew Connect. Hit that like button, man. It ain't gonna cost you nothing to hit it. Ain't gonna cost you nothing to like the channel, to comment, subscribe, to follow. It ain't gonna cost you nothing, man. So go ahead and push that button. Hit that notification bell, man, so you can be notified when it's time to go live. Don't rob your brother of his likes and his subscriptions. Shalom. Truth Music Radio is the #1 hottest source of truth music. Come see what all the fuss is about. Every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Zebediah Boaz will be bringing y'all evening meditation. Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m. DJ Taz Stewart will be on the ones and twos. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Moshe Yehuda will bring you truth music, scripts, and world events. Wednesday from 5 to 7, your sister, Ray Chantel, will be bringing you Sister Talk every Wednesday. Every Friday, tap in to Truth, Love, and Redemption with Dimitri Milligan from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget about me, your op, Brandon Lewis, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. We'll be bringing you the Script Talk Podcast, all on Truth Music Radio. The Z is for Zion, powered by the Most High, J Shields Promotions, RayGraphics.com, and Yasharala Nation. Zion, spread the message. Download the app for free for Apple devices and Android. All right, man. All right. I'm sorry that everything's short. I just want to close out briefly. I want to give all praise to the Most High for this message. I pray that it finds you, that it binds you, that it free you from any captivity that you might be in, that it causes you to prosper and be renewed. Todayah. And I hope to see y'all. Please join me Sunday, Abba willing. 12 tribes, one nation. Hallelujah.
Pretty Kitty, Arkansas was a background. Two sisters, single mama popping out around. Being poor, humble living never got you down. 3 girls, mama, 3rd child. I can see the happiness in your face about the news. The first day when you heard about the move down to California. And it felt like a dream, surreal moment when you had to pack your things. Fast forward, LA, new landscape. Hard to adjust to this fast-paced high school. Yeah. Where you first found trouble messing with this old nigga used to hustle. Name was Spencer.
One day you're chilling at his house, called over his nephew to come check you out. Wrong move, huh? It was an instant connection, butterflies in your stomach when you first met him. I could see you, mama. Start a journey with each other. We got one life to live. Don't have all the answers. We gon' work it out. There's some bumps along the way, but it is what it is. We take them as they come. This is black love, huh? Put your hand down this road. I promise you, I'ma love you till we gray and old. Please believe me. Please forgive me for the heartache and pain I put you through, but I love you all the same. Black love. Young Johnny LA, with your stomping ground rough childhood, baby businessman, the gang you found. Showed up at your uncle's house, crooked smile. Who's this pretty thing sitting on the couch, caring through it? Oh, we had to have her, that's a fact. Sorry, uncle, you too old to handle that. Funny, I can see it. Snatch her up, fast forward, got her pregnant. Black love, y'all was young and so reckless, yet please believe it. Got married, had your first baby, Shay Shay. Hustle hard, fed her, working low pay, honest man. Lumber y'all working hard, tough life, frustration that you carried at your home at night. Karen felt it. I know you loved it, but she still got punched on. Your fault made up, inseparable, love strong. Dysfunctional home, yet you still got along. I guess the love that you showed to outweigh the wrong. I know you love the pop. Start a journey with each other. We got one life to live. Don't have all the answers. We gon' work it out. There's some bumps along the way, but it is what it is. We take them as they come. This is black love, huh? Put your hand down this road. I promise you, I'ma love you till we gray and old. Please believe me. Please forgive me for the heartache and pain I put you through, but I love you all the same. Black love. 3 children now, shade, medium, monkey. Struggle to keep it together, but never let them go hungry. They seen you fight, but they also seen you kiss. Reminiscing good times, they were bliss. Yes, black love. Kitty sitting in your lap, taking pictures. 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're splitting. 11 grandchildren, and your future just pulled through the hard times. Thank the Most High persevering this whole time. In 05, devastated with bad news. Cancer hit your prostate, got it removed. You pulled through, uphill battle ahead now. Black love, keep you fighting to this last round. You love your family, but Karen's voice was a sweet sound. To your ears, 45 years she's been down. Staring at you in the dark while you're sleeping. It's hard to know that you're really leaving. Love you, Pop. Start a journey with each other. We got one life to live. Don't have all the answers. We gon' work it out. There's some bumps along the way, but it is what it is. We take them as they come. This is black love, huh? Put your hand down this road. I promise you, I'ma love you till we gray and old. Please believe me. Please forgive me for the heartache and pain I put you through, but I love you all the same. Black love.
I'm just sitting here trying to contemplate what to think, what to say to you, you know, with all this video. I'm trying to leave you something of myself, you know. I love you very much, you know. I want you to take care of yourself. And one day I'm gonna hear my father's voice. I'm gonna wake up and I know you're gonna be there with me. We're gonna have that little house for ourselves. We're gonna have all our grandkids and our loved ones there with us. So it's not over with yet. So I just want you to keep this picture with you. It's hard, you know, to make a video of yourself, but I'm trying to do something to leave you something of myself. I'm so thankful to have this phone. I'm dead now, I know how to work it, you know. Anyway, we've been together over 40 years, and you know, I had the blessing, you know, being with you that long, and I just want y'all to know that I love all of y'all very